What if monsters were real? Not as abominations lurking in the shadows, but cunning predators hiding in plain sight, influencing every aspect of our world in ways we would never dare to imagine. What if you became one of them? Enter the world of darkness. In the world of darkness, vampires, werewolves, and monsters of many different kinds are all living among us, an entire supernatural world hidden in plain sight. You were all normal human beings once, just living average lives, blissfully unaware of anything at all, the true nature of the darkness lying upon the underbelly of each of your worlds. Once. Things were simple, but now they ain't, and that's the biggest thing to remember in all of this. This big mess of a predicament you found yourselves in. For example, if only you hadn't moved to that old, rickety house on the corner for a quarter of the price just to realize the landlord didn't tell you about the demons that never left the ancient burial ground below it. If only you hadn't stumbled into that club of cute boing-boing onesans only to realize the owner is a vampire gangster and the ladies, well, they ain't exactly human either. If only you hadn't been rummaging around in an old alleyway for scraps of food, only to discover this neighborhood's night watch is a band of werewolves who aren't so keen on your kind and what they've done to their city. Things could have been normal, but now they aren't. And it's because you figured out a little secret. Nothing is as it seems. And now, things'll never be the same for you guys. But you're a lucky bunch, you know, because the timing of it all was on your side. You don't gotta go through this alone. It turns out 3 other strangers are right there with you. Each of them encountered something truly frightening, something supernatural. Unable to return back to the doldrums of that boring, blissfully boring and ignorant life, you search for a new way to exist. In the end, you realize that there really was only one answer: to embrace it. Ladies, welcome to MythBreakers campaign.
Tiara is a young woman who trains and owns crows and owls. She grew up in another continent in a rich family where she had a pet owl called Uhu, which is her favorite and still follows her to this day. She also knows how to use guns and carries 2 with herself because her brother is a hunter, but she herself does not like to fight very much. She mostly does it to protect herself and her birds. She originally came to this continent to find more rare species of birds and, you know, train them and own them. Since she came from a different continent, however, she doesn't speak this language here perfectly, and communication issues arise sometimes. Also, her clothing style seems foreign and out of place, so she gets a lot of weird looks. She's more a quiet type of person who doesn't trust people easily. She has a habit of forgetting where she puts things, but usually her owl knows what she's looking for and brings it to her. She also doesn't understand technical stuff much and doesn't know how to use her phone except for taking cute photos of her birds. The end.
You'll be alright.
A typical grad student. She thought she was going to have a relatively normal experience during her graduate studies, but her hopes were shattered when the professor in charge was a bit on the crazier side. Starting from daily chores and errands to dangerous deliveries and adventures in foreign lands, Yuul has experienced quite a lot during her time under the professor. Some would classify Yuul as a quote-unquote mad scientist type, but that is just a misconception as she often has to take credit for her professor's doings.
Watoto came from Watoto, from Mother Watoto and Father Watoto, who hate government and raised Watoto to take over a family-owned herb business. A conspiracy-obsessed goblin-like human who is an herb dealer to make money and wants to take down the local system. Specializes in potion, poison crafting, pickpocketing, and street brawls. A short, squat man with a greenish hue to his skin. He sports a macro monocle on one eye to inspect coins and herbs. He wears a trench coat and backpack to carry many wares, concoctions, and knickknacks.
Okay, Scout grew up on a family farm in tiny Belt Buckle Anytown, USA. Lives with her pa, her ma, and her sister. She learned how to forge horseshoes at a young age and is now forging blades. She was never taught to read, can only read basic texts, and I like to use the example of basic text such as toxic, do not ingest, but that's about it. Probably because it has a skull on it. She's obsessed with watching old samurai and western films. Growing up in Belt Buckle has taught her ample rural survival skill. She has a tendency to lack empathy and can be selfish due to having to make things work for herself by herself. Also, she likes kicking doors down.
Let's hit the crosswalk, let's talk, can you keep up? You're kinda keen and now we're looking like I don't sleep enough. Take a toe on a rendezvous without a straight far. I'm the kind to ease your mind by taking you to the graveyard. Step out to the city but you don't know me. Take my wits right with me but they don't know me. Maybe feel like going psycho in the streets, sit it for later. Instead I'll make a stylish retreat. Hey, go live, go high, so fly, oh my, no drop. This guy, talk about a misfire, leave it to misfire, spitting for cash. I'll never be caught up again, right in this album. Just say it. 溶けてゆく日々の中で新しい魔法を上が消してくそれは What do you mean? So you and me って答えを自分で探して She said 好きに裏も表もない Have a great night 私を